annoyed if I do this, but I feel like this is probably the best thing anyway, and I'm just going to do it. But not like they're going to be viscerally upset, you know? Mm-hmm. Like in this scenario.
Well, I'll tell you who was viscerally upset is pretty much everyone in the comments. Should not be a dog trainer. Welcome to The Dive, the official podcast of Wavestream Media. I'm Mark.
And I'm Cee Cee. We're the founders of Wavestream, and this is where we slow down, talk it out, and dive into the stuff that deserves a little more airtime.
One topic, one story, or one person per episode. Whether it's something we're building, something we're questioning, or something we just can't stop thinking about.
Let's dive in. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I think we're breaking from, our format a little bit here today, because I think we're going to do more than one story per episode today.
Yeah, I think that's actually really valid. So unfortunately, everyone, we have just lied to you because we are going to do several stories. But I'm super excited for this episode because I've mentioned this before. I love other people's business, and I particularly love Reddit stories. Shout out to Two Hot Takes. That's one of my favorite podcasts to listen to because they just talk about other people's business. And I'm always so fascinated by what people have going on in their lives.
Yeah, I think I'm nosier than I like to be. You know, I want to say I talked about it last week or the week before where I think I've kind of done this intentional work to remove a lot of drama from my life. But man, like when it creeps its way in, sometimes it's super annoying, but sometimes it's just so good.
It is entertaining. It gives you something to talk about, definitely.
I guess the real thing is who doesn't love other people's drama?
That's true. If you do, then you should be sainted, probably. You're a much better person than I am, but there's something about just a little bit of not super important conflict that I just enjoy.
Yeah, and I don't think we necessarily lied to these people. I think maybe what we need to do is we need to recouch it. Maybe instead of one story, it's one vibe per episode. Because I think that's what we've got today is we've got one vibe that we're going to be serving up.
Yes. So what we're going to do is we've each picked one or two stories from r/AITH, stands for Am I the Asshole? So we're going to read these stories and we're going to give our hot take as to whether or not they are, in fact, the asshole. So if you're ready, we can just do the first one.
Yeah, fire it off.
All right. Am I the asshole for not wanting to give my engagement ring back to my ex-husband? My ex-husband, 34 male, and I were married for just under 3 years before everything fell apart. The marriage ended badly, he was unfaithful, and after months of trying to work it out, I finally filed for divorce. It's been finalized for a little while now, but one issue that's still lingering is the engagement ring. He's been asking for it back, saying it was a gift in contemplation of marriage, and since the marriage is over, he deserves to have it returned. His exact words were, "It's not fair that you get to keep something that cost me thousands of dollars when you walked away." Here's my problem. I don't see the ring as his anymore. When he gave it to me, it wasn't a loan, it was a gift. We did get married, so it wasn't like the engagement was broken off before the wedding, and regardless of how things ended, I wore my ring during our marriage. It was part of my life, and now it feels like it's mine. To be clear, I'm not refusing out of spite. I just genuinely don't feel like I should have to hand over something that was given to me as a symbol of our marriage, even if he did betray my trust in the end. Part of me thinks he just wants it back to either sell it or give it to someone else down the road, and that idea makes me sick. Some friends say I should just return it to close the chapter and move on, while others say it's absolutely mine, and I don't owe him anything. I know laws differ depending on the state, but for me, this feels more about principle than legality. The other piece is that the ring is quite expensive, and while I don't plan on wearing it anymore, I've been wondering if I should still insure it with some other pieces I got myself since it's valuable. It feels weird to keep something locked away but not protect it, yet also strange to pay insurance on jewelry that will never see the light of day. So, am I the asshole for not wanting to give my engagement ring back to my ex-husband, and should I even bother insuring it if I'm never going to wear it, and where should I look?
To me, asshole, I don't think is the right metric here.
Yeah.
I think if I was going to say, is she the asshole for not wanting to give it back? No. And I mean, I think maybe the right answer is, I think just in these sorts of like, messy divorce situations, I think both parties usually are kind of at fault, right?
Yeah, well, she did say, though, that he was unfaithful. So I'm assuming that means he cheated on her. To me, that is the asshole part of this whole situation.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
Yeah. And I think that, like, personally, I hold a grudge. So I think that I would not want the ring in the first place.
Mhm.
Like, because this is so over, like, I would want it out of my life. But at the same time, I totally understand not wanting to give it back to him because it was yours. And, like, what happened to the marriage seems to have not been her fault. And they did try to work it out, which is very gracious of her. They did try to work it out and they just couldn't. And I think I just can't understand on the flip side why he wants it.
Probably just to sell it.
Which is crazy.
I mean, frankly. Yeah. I mean, to me, the one thing that seems like a missing link here is like she's talking about how she wants to keep it, but she's going to like lock it away and like not really do anything with it. So, I mean, to me, that's just like, I think she said it was like, oh, I'm just not giving it back on principle. But it also just kind of feels like, spite, but like warranted spite. Like, I've tried to work with you and, I've been nice so far, but like, just not anymore. This is where I draw the line.
I do think, though, that an engagement ring like that is the property of the person who you like bought it for. I
agree. Once you give it, like, it is a gift that you are giving to someone.
Yeah.
It's not shared property at all.
I do think it's ultimately her ring, and whether or not she decides to give it back is her decision to make. I think him saying, like, I spent so much money on it, I want it back, is like a crazy take. I cheated on you, but I also spent so much money on your ring and I want it back now, is like, I feel like at that point, you don't have a leg to stand on to make that request.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, too, is, I mean, I think, like, if we're going, cold case files, connecting all these pieces together.
Right.
We're pretty sure that this guy was unfaithful. And then his argument is, oh, you broke it off. To me, that's kind of like the most like that is the most asshole thing in the whole story.
Agreed.
That's just a terrible angle. Like, what are you doing, dude?
You're the one who decided that we should get a divorce as a result of my actions. Like, I don't think anybody should be expected to stay in a situation with somebody where they don't feel like they've been respected because they've been cheated on, or don't feel like they've been respected, period. But especially for that. At that point, like, you don't even want to be in the marriage, apparently. So it's just like, he doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. I would be pretty spiteful about that too. That's just kind of like manipulative, right? Like, where it's obvious that you were the sort of like the problem, but then you're blaming it on somebody else.
Yeah. I also think that at a certain point in scenarios like these, like, there's a huge lack of control for the poster here. Like, she did have control when it came to like getting the divorce, but before that, a lot of that was outside of her control, and like what happened to her marriage was not in her control. And as a reaction to that, to be able to just want to control this, I think I totally understand.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's sort of like being on the roller coaster of your own life and not being able to, have like feeling like you can't control anything is just terrible.
Yeah. And overall, the comments say, not the asshole. Someone said, if the engagement was canceled, then you give it back. But when the wedding was fulfilled successfully, it became yours, which I think is a valid take. And they said, just because he fucked up his marriage doesn't mean he gets his deposit back. It doesn't work that way. Not the asshole.
Yeah, no, totally agree on all that.
I think that totally sums up the answer to that one.
So I actually, and apparently, like, I'm not chronically online enough to really keep up with Reddit as much as I thought I was, but I didn't realize that Am I the Asshole was still a thing. I thought it got rebranded because I pulled my story from AIO, Am I Overreacting? Which
Ooh,
I thought
I
was just
like
kind of like
this too.
rebranded Am I the Asshole, right?
I'm excited. I'm excited. Yeah. To be fair, I don't think I don't know the last time I was on Reddit, but I do love to listen to a good story. I will always stop and watch one of those if it comes across me.
Yeah, I think for me, probably it's just I think I've kind of veered away from like just the like over saturation of like memes and stuff on Reddit. So basically, like whenever I'm getting stuff in my feed, it's like just for like the video games I'm actively playing or like kill
Mm-hmm.
team stuff or like extremely, middle of the road kind of stuff like am I overreacting? Or like
Yes.
weird gross stuff sometimes.
Well,
You just
let's
can't
find
control that.
out. Yeah, let's find out if we're overreacting.
I'll be interested because I think that this is something that we would both have a pretty active take on because we both have dogs.
Okay.
Am I overreacting for asking my roommate to move out after what they did to my dog?
Oh no.
My roommate is a dog trainer wannabe. They're very good at training dogs, but the basics and want to become certified but have not registered for the course. Her love for animals is undeniable. I had to go out of town for 2 nights and she offered to take care of my pups, and I was extremely grateful for that. I shopped while I was away and bought her an outfit to say thank you. My dogs are rescues and have big issues with their nails being cut. They are legitimately scared. I've spent a lot of time working on desensitizing them. I was able to cut my little pup's nails one paw at a time, but I'm lucky if I can get one nail at a time with my larger pup. My roommate is afraid to cut her own dog's nails, and I do them for her. When I came home, I noticed my larger dog's front nails were cut badly. I asked if she had cut his nails, and she said no, because I know you don't want anyone else touching his nails except for you because you're trying to get them to trust you. It was obvious to me that they had been done. I asked a couple more times, and they still denied it. The other day, while we were chatting in the kitchen, I said it was obvious my dog's nails were cut, and she admitted she had cut them, but was afraid to tell me because she knew I was adamant that I was the only one to cut them because I was working on trust and desensitization. I was angry, but I asked how she managed to get both front paws done, and she said she gave him a large dose of CBD oil. She drugged my dog without my consent, and I just can't get over that. Her reaction to me was she will stay away from my dogs from now on with absolutely no accountability for her own actions. Am I overreacting by asking her to leave?
Oh my god, there's so many layers to this. There's
Yeah.
so many wants to be a dog trainer, has no skills, acts like dog trainer. That's crazy to me. Two, I think it's beyond to the lying. The immediately, no, I didn't. Like, we have eyes, ma'am. We can see.
Yeah.
And then the backpedaling of it, like, I'm so sorry. And then on top of that, like giving the dog something the dog isn't used to having. Like, all of that is so crazy. And what's it to me it is again, it's like, how am I supposed to trust anything you say? Like, I know now that you have lied to me about something that is important, and like lied saying, oh no, I would never do that. I know it's important to you. Like, you know something is important to me. You lied to my face about it. And then you come clean and you expect me to want to like be around you still. And like having somebody like that in my house too, I think would drive me crazy.
That's the big thing for me is it's just, I'll get off on the tangent here in a little bit because I've had such a terrible situation with a previous roommate. But like having somebody in your own house that you literally can't trust is one of the worst feelings in the world, honestly.
You feel like you're like walking on eggshells all the time. Like,
yeah.
If there's one place in the world where you should be comfortable, it's your own home.
Yeah, but I mean, if there's somebody like that in your home, you're like in your room with the door shut all the time because you just can't stand to see them.
And you still feel them while you're in there.
You still feel them. You can hear them through the walls. It's just, it's awful.
Yeah. And it's like a constant reminder of that you're mad.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, like, I'll go ahead and get my story out of the way. So
yeah,
it's the same house that I've been living in. When me and my roommate moved in here, we had another roommate. He moved out during COVID. We had another roommate who was one of his best friends for a long time. He moved out because of a job. Then we had another roommate move in, sometime maybe like a year and a half after we first moved into this house.
Oh, you went through people quick.
Well, it was COVID, right? Like
Yeah.
there was people were moving, people were getting jobs, shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But what had happened is that things were fine. We were kind of like hi-bye roommates with this person. And then all of a sudden we just start noticing like alcohol disappearing and just
Uh-oh.
it was weird. I was like, I mean, it's fine if she's drinking my stuff, but it's like, you just ask her, like, you get
Replace
another
it.
yeah, exactly, get a 12 pack, say, oh yeah, help yourself, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
But it got to being like, I'd go to work and it would just be like 3 or 4 drinks just like missing, and I'm just like, that's fine, I'm just gonna like put it in my room so that way it's just not there for temptation. And then we catch her going into my room and like taking drinks after I like put this stuff like in my closet, and I'm just like, oh, that is just makes me so uncomfortable.
Yeah, and there's other layers to that too. Like, clearly, this is a substance problem that
Correct.
this person has.
I
On top of
so.
the fact that they're now stealing your stuff, like, and you can't even go so far as to keep it in your own personal space. Like, they will go to whatever length to take it. Yeah, I don't. I think that's just it's very violating.
It is, like you really think of like your room as a sort of like sacred space, whatever you use it for. Maybe you're one of those people who only sleeps in your room. Maybe you've got the TV in your room, something like that. Like it is just, it is a private space,
And you should be able to keep anything in there that you want to keep in there without concern of somebody going in there and taking it. But I mean, I think it's true for anything in your house. You should be able to have your things in your house without fear that somebody is going to take them or use them without your knowledge or permission.
Yeah. And, I think that like that's part of the reason like hi-bye roommates work is like you don't have to be best friends with your roommate.
No.
It's nice when you are. It's nice when you have somebody who you really enjoy and can spend time with. My current roommate and I definitely have that sort of relationship. But, the foundation of it all is trust, right?
I think
if you
honestly,
can't trust them, it ain't worth it.
Yeah, I think that sometimes like somewhere between a hi-bye and like a real friend roommate is the ideal.
Oh, yeah.
Roommate.
I'd
like 100%, because I've seen so many, and personally I've had friendships that didn't last past a certain like the lease ending because of just you, like if you're close and then you get together with each other, like you're together all the time and then you start to drive each other crazy, like it can go bad fast, which is sad. But yeah. I'd say most of my roommates I'm still friends with.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I had one like hi-bye roommate, but he like moved to the other side of the country. That's the only one who I'm just like, And obviously my my former kleptomaniac roommate. But,
yeah,
that's
right.
We're just trying to forget about all that.
Yeah.
Going back to these dog problems, I think obviously the trust issue is really big, but also just like the drugging of the dog is just like so just insane. Like,
yeah.
It's one thing if you're like the type of person who wants to give your dog CBD oil, like that's totally fine. It's your dog, but like, you don't treat your roommate's dogs as your own. You love on them, but you don't make those kinds of decisions for them. Just never, ever, ever.
No. And the thing, it's like in situations like this, if I'm applying your roommate story kind of test to this, where we said, as long as you ask, maybe things are different.
Exactly.
And so I think though, why in this scenario did she not ask? Because she knew the answer would be no. If she had said, I know you're out of town and you trusted me to watch your dog, and is it okay if I try to cut his nails and give him a bunch of CBD while you're gone? Obviously the answer is no. So you don't ask because you know it's wrong. And like, what did she think the outcome here was going to be? Oh my God, thank you so much for going against something that I told you and like doing this for me anyway. Like that's not it.
Have you ever been in a situation like that where you're like, I think I'm just going to ask for forgiveness instead of permission, and like it was a good idea?
With my parents and like my brother, like with my immediate family, yes. And a lot of times I'd say it's a good idea. And never in those times when I've done that has it been something that's like really important to them personally, Like, maybe I'm like, it's something where I know they're going to be annoyed if I do this, but I feel like this is probably the best thing anyway, and I'm just going to do it. But not like they're going to be viscerally upset, you know? Like in this scenario.
Well, I'll tell you who was viscerally upset is pretty much everyone in the comments. Should not be a dog trainer.
We forgot about that. Like, let's just think about that one more time. Like, you want to be a dog trainer and you haven't gone to school and this is how you're starting. Maybe it's not for you.
Yeah. I mean, like, what are you going to do? Show up at somebody's house and like not ask them, hey, is it all right for me to do this to your dog?
You show up at home after a long day of work. There's a girl in your backyard with a beer cutting your dog's toenails after she drugged them just without your knowledge. Like, what the heck?
Insane. Oh, hell no. Not overreacting. Let's see. What have we got here? Throw her out. Lucky you didn't put hands on her. Asking her, I'd be tossing her out and all of her stuff. Maybe even report her to the police.
The answer is you are not overreacting and you do not need to live with this person anymore, probably.
Better off without them, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Poor things. I hope the dog was okay. I hope it's his little paws didn't hurt.
Like, that's the thing is I don't cut Izzy's nails because I am not qualified and she's also a little skittish with it. So like I cut her nail like too close one time and I was ready to exile myself. Like, worst dog dead in the world. I deserve no forgiveness.
My dogs, we have another dog. Spoiler alert. But family's dogs.
Another dog?
Yes, my family's
dogs.
Buddy's
got a friend?
Don't care. Like, they could not care any less about what anybody does to them about anything. But I mean, I still wouldn't do it personally. I let a professional. I am the first person to, as they say in Andy Griffith, call the man ain't be. Because, like, I am absolutely not. I know where my limits are, and some things are just outside of my area of expertise. And I will call somebody immediately without asking for permission.
Like, to me, it's just when I take Izzy to the vet, they just offer to cut her nails and it's like $15. I'm like, oh God, please.
Absolutely.
They'll give her like, you know, the liver tube, like she's a cat, or like she'll lick some peanut butter. And, you know, it's just a bunch of people. They're all doting on her. Everybody at the vet loves Izzy. Oh my God.
Good. As they should.
As they should.
All right. So, am I the
over
asshole?
Here just like giving me the side eye, like she knows I'm talking about her and she's mad about it.
I'm listening to you. All right. Am I the asshole for telling my friend that her free wedding is unrealistic? I, 24 female, am a member of a friend group in which one member, will call her Coral, 23 female, is getting married. She announced her engagement to her fiance, 25 male, a few weeks ago, and we were all happy for her. Over the weekend, though, she shared more specific plans for the wedding, and that's where things have gone off the rails. She said she's been seeing a lot of people on TikTok and Instagram showing how to plan, quote, free weddings. Weddings where the couple spends $0 aside from the marriage certificate fee, I guess. And at first, I thought she meant like a city hall wedding, which would be completely fine. But then she got into the details and her expectations for the ceremony. She's going to try and find someone with a large outdoor space to use, not a formal wedding venue, who will donate their area in support of, quote, love. She's going to have all of her guests bring a potluck with very specific assignments. She will have a friend officiate, a friend do photography, a friend do save the dates and invites, her family do flowers, etc., including some harder to swing, in my opinion, things like a large tent, decorations, wedding favors, speakers, band, etc. I'm not sure what her plan was for a dress. What's more is that Coral and her fiance aren't poor, from what I can tell. She works as an accountant at a big company and her fiance does software, ? Sales. Plus, his parents are loaded. It sounds like they just want to do a free wedding for the sake of it. That would be okay, but she's just shifting all of the costs onto other people, some of whom are probably less well off. She then told me she wants me to make the cake. And then she sent me some pictures, quote, for inspiration. The cakes were ridiculously elaborate. We're talking multi-tier, fondant flowers, gold leaf, and one even had a hand-painted watercolor design. I'm not a professional baker. I just like to bake cookies and brownies sometimes. I told her that those cakes would probably take me days to make and they wouldn't come out anywhere near as good. She kind of laughed that off and said, "Oh, it's not about being perfect. It's just about pitching in. It'll be fun." I told her that, fun or not, what she was describing was basically her friends and family subsidizing her wedding with time, money, and labor, and that it was kind of unfair to expect people to spend so much on her, quote, free wedding. Or else she was expecting everybody to show up to a lackluster event and just pretend it was amazing. It's like a group project that none of us wanted to do because we already graduated and moved on from that, so we don't need the credit. She does graduate a year later than the rest of us. I said that if she wants a free wedding, she should probably just elope or go to City Hall because this isn't really free. It's just free for her. I might have been a bit more forceful in my wording, but I didn't swear or call her names or anything like that. She got super quiet and just looked at me for a minute or so and then left, with another one of our friends driving her home. Later that night, I got a text from that friend saying I'd really hurt Coral's feelings, and that even if the plans were a bit unrealistic, I should have just let Coral come to that conclusion on her own. Coral then messaged me saying, "Sorry, don't worry about the cake," with no more context. I'm feeling pretty bad now, especially since Coral was so happy and excited, and she never really said anything mean to me. Perhaps I should have just gone along with the cake since she said she wouldn't be mad if it turned out badly, but I'm worried that her wedding would not have been what she wanted. And also I was frustrated about the cake request. Am I the asshole?
Yeah, ending on a high note here. This is a tough one.
Yes. I think I really agree with what she said about, like, it seems like you're passing the cost of the wedding just off onto other people. Like, ultimately, it is not free.
Right?
No,
yeah.
Nothing in the world is free. And you're having people donate their time to make the food, to the ingredients for the food, to bring the tent, the DJ, the music, whatever. Like, everybody else is paying for this thing for you.
Yeah. I mean, this is such a hard one to judge without context to me.
I agree.
If this is somebody who is very much about that sort of like bohemian lifestyle and like would genuinely be fine with like, you know, having this sort of like kitschy wedding where everything was just kind of like put together like that, I think that, yeah, I would probably err on the side of, yeah, you know, maybe you're overreacting or being the asshole a little bit. But if it's somebody who you like kind of know is looking for like more of a traditional wedding, then no, I don't think you're overreacting at all, because I think that this is going to end up like, you know, why do wedding photographers get paid so much? It's because they have to put up with a lot, and it's hard. You know, you're on your feet doing this all day.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a lot of like work afterwards. Like you were trying to capture somebody's special day, you know,
and you only get one shot.
Yeah, exactly. You get one shot of them walking down the aisle, right? And so, like, you have to be aces for that. And that's, like, if somebody's just going to do that for free and it's not, you know, dynamite, like, are you going to actually be okay with the outcome?
Right.
It's so hard to say.
I think the only situation where I could see a, quote, free wedding working is, like, if it is a really small wedding. So I'm talking like immediate family and friends only. Like there's
like
max
40 to 50 people.
I was going to say max 40. Like I wouldn't even say 50. Max 30, 40 people. Like where it's just people that you're close with. Then I could see a situation like this where it works out. Because, you know,
like a legitimate like backyard kind of wedding.
Right. I was literally just about to say this. My parents have a beautiful backyard. They have like a little rose garden in it. It's so pretty, and they actually do want to hold really small weddings there. If I wanted to get married in my parents' backyard and have 30 to 40 people there and have everybody pitch in, I could see a world where that works. But once you get past that and you start to ask your random friends who just know how to like bake from the box to like build you an elaborate wedding cake to feed, apparently, if it's 3 tiers, we're having more than 50 people.
Right.
And like once you start getting to that point, I think it becomes too much. And it is ultimately what she told her was this is unrealistic. And I agree. I think it is unrealistic.
Yeah, I think the biggest piece of context that we got from all of that is like she was sending her these pictures of the cake that she wanted, basically like the inspiration. and it was just, not necessarily like an attainable sort of thing. It's the, it's the sort of thing you see on TikTok, right?
Yeah. Weddings are just they're so expensive.
So expensive.
But at a certain point, if that's what you want, you have to figure out how you're gonna pay for it, really.
Mm-hmm. Let's kind of flip the script here. Let's pretend that we are attending a wedding like this. One of our friends is having, this free backyard wedding. What are you going to cook and bring to this potluck?
Well, apparently it was a sign. So I guess whatever they told me.
Are you bringing the salmon or the chicken then?
Man, I don't know, but I can guarantee you I know how to make like 10 things, and whatever it is, it's probably not going to be that delicious because it's not one of those 10. If I can't put it in the crock pot, it's not going to be as delicious as you'd like for it to be.
Yeah, and like we don't have professional catering equipment. Like this is stuff that it's like we're going to have to cook like the night before and like reheat it.
And I don't feel comfortable necessarily eating food out of just anybody's kitchen or home. Like, I don't know where their food has been, if it's clean. As somebody who's allergic to stuff too, I'm like, what if I'm allergic to something here too? Like, I feel like it's not reasonable to ask your guests to also be the caterers of your event. And I mean, I think of times when this does work, like Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving has potlucks and maybe things get assigned, but like that's so predictable, like of what you're going to have at Thanksgiving and who makes what, it becomes tradition versus like a random act.
It's also like a smaller ask because I think, like if I'm making something to bring for my family Thanksgiving, it's for, 12 to 15 people at the most. Mm-hmm. Like that's not hard to cook for that many people. Maybe a little bit more than like, a home cook is used to, but it's also not like you have to buy specialized equipment to do it, right? Like if you got assigned something, like let's say you got assigned the chicken. Like, and you have to make
How
that
much chicken do you have to make?
So much, probably, right?
So expensive.
It is. Like, let's give them the benefit of the doubt too. Like, let's have burgers. All right. Well, let's say it's for like 80 people. You got to go and buy like $100-something worth of ground beef from Costco. And that's before you're getting buns and condiments. Hopefully somebody else is bringing the buns and the condiments.
Hopefully somebody else has been assigned buns and condiments. Yeah.
Just bringing the burgers.
Right. Somebody else is assigned personally to bring Kraft singles to stack on top of the burgers.
What's the wildest thing you've ever seen at a wedding?
The wildest thing I've ever seen at a wedding.
Yeah. For me, I went to a wedding when I was like 18 years old, and it was, a wedding for one of my friends, and the dinner was fried chicken from the Walmart commissary.
Whoa, that is a wild take. But I bet it was still pretty good, honestly, for what it was. But that is an interesting catering development.
You got to do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm. This is not something that happened at the wedding specifically, because I feel like most of the weddings that I've been to have been normal. But when I was like 8, I was the flower girl at my cousin's wedding. And another cousin of mine was a bridesmaid. And she got stuck, like her seatbelt got stuck in the back of my other cousin's car. And like she was like stuck in there and it was locked, so like she couldn't slide out. And they got the knife that they later used to cut the cake to cut her out of the car. Which I thought was pretty hilarious, but that was not necessarily at the wedding. I will say that wedding took place at the church. The reception took place at my grandma Huffman's house outside in the yard underneath a big tent. But we did not have to bring our own food. Yeah.
I think, to me, that's kind of the moral of the story is I think that you can definitely incorporate some of these ideas into a great wedding. But otherwise, I mean, it's just a lot. It just feels, I agree. It just feels like a lot. And that's why I'm ultimately going to pass the judgment, not the asshole.
I think so, too. I think that having a community be supportive of you on your wedding day is important and is wonderful. But I think that you cannot expect the level of support that this bride-to-be is necessarily seeking here.
Yeah.
In a very diplomatic way to put it.
Right.
So this person says, not the asshole. She's in for a rude awakening the first time she asked for a free party tent. Those things are expensive AF, which is true.
Yep.
Everybody's basically just talking about how expensive it is. This person says, we had a very small wedding with like 25 people, including us and our kids. Everyone lives super close. They did this type of situation, and that worked out exactly as we suggested it probably would. But yeah, most people are like, not the asshole. I honestly think in a situation like this, and this is where I get my, maybe my track record for being a little bit blunt, but I would rather have somebody tell me this at the beginning than like, it's 2 weeks, 1 week, days before my wedding, and
Exactly.
I start to realize that this is not going to work the way that I envisioned it.
Yeah. I mean, I would prefer to get the bad news early. Like, that's the thing is, we're planners, right?
Mm-hmm.
We put in this time early to make sure that things come out the way we want them to.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if we had like these kind of delusions of grandeur and like you're getting the picture back and your cake just looks like super mid, you're just not going to be happy.
Right. And to what we've talked about earlier with control, like whenever you cater a wedding, you relinquish control of the food over to like one party. Yeah. Now it's like all of a sudden 50 people are in control of the food at your wedding. That exponentially creates so much more room for error.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I think ultimately not the asshole, because what are friends for if not to tell you things that sometimes you don't want to hear?
Absolutely. And I think that there's already like this very nice spot where it's like your friends do have a responsibility for something that is free to you and is like their responsibility to sort of like take the initiative on. It's like the bachelor or the bachelorette party. Like they are hosting a celebration of you and your friendship with them. And you don't have to worry about that at all. They just do that.
Mm-hmm. Are you, as a note to end on, are you good at being celebrated? Like, I hate, ironically enough, for somebody who does like attention, I don't like big events where it's like my birthday or like everybody's focused on what I'm doing. Because I normally, I'm chill. I don't like when other people are worried if I'm happy or not, I think is the thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really love the spectacle of like, having a birthday party for me. It's just not really my favorite. Like, I mean, my birthday is one of my favorite holidays because it's one of the only days where I'm just like, I got to do whatever I want and nobody else can tell me that it's right or wrong,
Period.
Exactly. I think I'm good at being celebrated. I think that if I'm in that situation, I can handle it gracefully and, sort of deliver on expectations. But it's also just not my favorite.
Yeah, same. I don't like that I have to be having any type of performance for it. I just I'm pretty much always content unless something's really wrong. I just don't like people like, are you happy? Like, isn't this so much fun?
Exactly.
I'm trying to be as gracious as I can be. And like, I guarantee you I am happy. But sometimes I'm like, let's just stop talking about it.
Exactly. And, to me, that's kind of like where I would rather, throw my own birthday party than have somebody else plan it for me, like a surprise party. Or even better, you know what? I love the birthday dinner because
I love a birthday dinner.
It's the chance that everybody can have to celebrate and dote on you and just like really put you on a pedestal. And then as soon as you're ready, oh, I'm so stuffed, ready to go home.
It's over. Yes.
Exactly.
And everybody is seated all in one place. And like, you can only have so many people to talk to around you. So it kind of cuts down on some of the attention factor as well.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I hate like being at like a dinner where it's like more than 8 people. 8 people is like the most you can have at a table and still talk to everybody at the table.
I agree.
Like if you've got 12 people, there's 2 or 3 different conversations going on. And my least favorite thing is having multiple conversations going on. And here I am trying to figure out which one I need to be in.
Mm-hmm. Who is the person that I should be talking to right now? Who's talking to me? That's the worst thing. When 2 conversations are happening and maybe you're in the midpoint of the table and all of a sudden everybody's talking to you. Hate
exactly.
it. then I'm like, I'm being rude to somebody no matter what I do.
Yeah.
That causes
But not the
stress.
asshole. That's not your fault.
Thank you.
You were put in that situation.
Exactly. That's so true. Not the asshole for being concerned about who I should respond to first.
Mm-hmm.
I think this episode was so much fun. I think we should do this again sometime.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think that there is, I was giving somebody a hard time earlier where it was like, oh, you're just reacting to other people's content. It's just fun. Like, that's
React
the thing.
content is so fun.
It's fun. And also it's just like, I don't like sit around all day just like looking at, online fodder. I made the joke about being chronically online earlier. I'm really not, like I don't just look at memes all day, but having an excuse to like look at this and just kind of think through it, it's fun.
It is fun. So we hope you guys enjoyed it too, because it'll be coming back because I enjoyed it too much for it to be our only one.
Absolutely. But that is it for this dive. And thank you so much for being here. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at wavestream.media. And if you want a podcast like this one, or totally not like this one, visit our website, wavestream.media. Talk to you soon.